I was about to back my truck out of the garage when I heard tires screech, a car door slam, and a voice yell, "Just park it here. He won't care. It's not like he's going anywhere today." Stepping outside, I found a white Mercedes sedan, decked out with flowers and a giant, "Just Married" sign, blocking my driveway like it owned the place. A woman in a pricey lilac dress wobbled toward my neighbor's backyard in high heels, shouting into her phone. Then I saw her, Lisa, the HOA's self-appointed dictator, striding across my lawn with a clipboard like she ruled the entire subdivision. I hadn't even had my coffee, and my driveway was already hijacked by wedding chaos. This was going to be a long, absurd day. I stood there, staring at the sheer nerve parked in front of me. I didn't know the car, the driver, or the wedding guests spilling into yards like a bridal flash mob, but I knew Lisa's attitude. For years, she'd been a nuisance, patrolling lawns with a tape measure, issuing fake HOA violations, and ensuring everyone loathed levying here as much as she loved enforcing rules. She wasn't just entitled, she was drunk on power. Now, apparently, she'd escalated to blocking driveways for her daughter's wedding without so much as a courtesy heads-up. I called out to the nearest guest, a guy fumbling with a bouquet and a mimosa like he was born to fail at both. "Excuse me, is this your car?" He didn't even look up. "Nah, man, it's for the wedding." "You're good." "Good?" I glanced at my truck, trapped by the Mercedes, its rear tires practically hugging my garage. This wasn't just Rudy, it was intentional, and Lisa knew it. She reappeared, smiling like she'd just won a lifetime supply of complaint forms. "Oh, hi there," she chirped, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "It's just for a couple of hours. My daughter's wedding is today. Surely you understand, right?" "No," I said flatly. "You're blocking my garage." "You didn't ask." "Move the car." Her smile tightened. "Well, the thing is, street parking's full, and we're allowed to use neighboring driveways for short-term community events per HOA guidelines." "It's fine." There was no such rule. I knew because I'd spent 2 months battling her over a fence I built 6 inches too tall. Arguing with Lisa was like debating a brick wall that files noise complaints. "Move the car, or I'll have it towed." "Your call." She raised an eyebrow, like I'd just kicked her prized poodle. "Seriously? You'd tow the bridal car at my daughter's wedding? That's cold." "No," I shot back. "What's cold is thinking you can use my property without asking." She snorted, "Wow, you really are that neighbor," and walked off. That's when I noticed my neighbor's backyard had morphed into a full-blown wedding venue, rows of chairs, tents, flower arches, speakers blaring pop ballads. Guests parked haphazardly along curbs, and even on other lawns. One guy tried to park on my grass, but backed off when I stepped out, phone in hand, snapping photos. It wasn't just disrespect fuel, it was chaos, orchestrated by Lisa's entitlement. I went inside, grabbed my phone, and called a tow company I'd used before when someone blocked my trash bins. The dispatcher laughed as I explained, "A wedding next door, a car blocking my driveway, no permission. We'll be there in 20. I went back out, documenting everything, photos of the car, the driveway lines, tire marks on my grass from another guest's bad parking. Lisa could complain to the HOA all she wanted. This time, I had proof. 15 minutes later, the tow truck rolled up, big, loud, and glorious. The driver gave me a thumbs up and got to work. Just as he hooked the car, I heard a shriek that could wake the dead. "Stop. Stop that right now." Lisa came sprinting from the house, veil flapping, heels sinking into the grass, arms flailing like a broken windmill. Guests turned to watch as she stormed onto my property. "This is illegal. This is harassment. I'll call the cops." The driver didn't flinch. Cleared it with dispatch. "Private property, owner wants it gone." "We're good." Lisa glared at me like I'd just burned her dream house down. "You ruined my daughter's wedding." I met her eyes. "No, you did that when you thought my driveway was yours." The car was hoisted and hauled away. Lisa stood there, mouth agape, hands trembling. The wedding music stopped. Guests watched, some snickering, one old man clapping. She stormed off, and the tow truck vanished. I exhaled, a smirk creeping onto my face. This wasn't over, not with Lisa, but today, she picked the wrong driveway. The silence after the tow was almost funny. Lisa retreated into the wedding chaos like a defeated violin. Guests avoided eye contact, shuffling back to their seats, unsure whether to ignore the drama or admit the bride's big day had just gotten a plot twist. I leaned against my porch, sipping lukewarm coffee, watching Lisa pace furiously in the backyard, hissing into her phone. The bride, her daughter, looked on the verge of tears. I didn't blame her. She likely hadn't asked her mom to turn the neighborhood into a war zone for her vows. But Lisa had a knack for making everything about herself. My phone buzzed. A text from Jake, my neighbor down the block. Just saw a car get towed from your driveway. Lisa again. I sent back a photo of the empty spot with front row seat to the worst wedding crash ever. He replied with a laughing emoji and a thumbs up. At least I wasn't alone in this HOA hell. The wedding resumed awkwardly. The music restarted, quieter now, and the officiant tried to gloss over the tension. But the missing bridal car and Lisa's glares through the shrubs were impossible to ignore. A groomsman who'd laughed at me earlier now stared at his shoes. A woman in her 40s, wine glass half empty, whispered to her friend, pointing at my house. The incident had stolen the show. Soon, Lisa's voice rose again, arguing with someone on the phone, probably the cops. I knew her playbook: call 911, spin a tale of harassment, and hope for a sympathetic officer. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, a squad car pulled up. Lisa nearly vaulted the fence while VYing her arms. Officer, over here. Before he could exit, she was in his face, claiming I'd violated her rights and ruined her daughter's day. She called me an unstable neighbor with a vendetta. The cop, unfazed, walked up my driveway, Lisa trailing, talking over him. Sir, he said, can you confirm the vehicle was blocking your garage? I pulled up the photos. Yes. Parked without consent, fully blocking access. I called the tow Ser VYC. Nothing was damaged. I didn't touch it. He nodded. That's all I need. She said it was shared property, but this is private, correct? Deed says so, and HOA bylaws don't override state law, no matter what she claims. The officer turned to Lisa with a look of tired recognition. Mrs. Harper, you filed multiple non-emergency calls here. This is a CIVYL matter. He was within his rights. Nothing more I can do. Lisa's mouth flapped like a fish out of water. But it's my daughter's wedding. He ruined it. The cop cut her off. No, the person who parked illegally did. Good day. He left. Lisa stood on my driveway, speechless, then hissed, this isn't over, before storming off. An older guest, maybe the groom's dad, approached later. Sorry about this, he said. That wasn't right. I don't think the kids knew what she planned. I shrugged. Not your fault. People want to celebrate, just not at the cost of basic decency. He nodded. If it helps, half the groom's side is Leah vying early. Lisa's turned this into a circus. They had a planner, but she fired her this morning. That did help, a little. The wedding limped on quieter music, shorter toasts, a thinning crowd. The bride looked tense, pulling her husband aside, pointing at Lisa with embarrassment. By sunset, the party fizzled. Cars left, some drivers while VYing sheepishly. One rolled down his window. Legend move, man. I gave a small salute. I thought that was it, but next morning, a yellow HOA violation notice was taped to my mailbox. Failure to adhere to community cooperation during neighborhood events. I nearly choked on my toast. Lisa had weaponized the HOA again. I grabbed the notice, marched to my study, and printed everything: photos, police report, my deed, a timeline, even the tow invoice. If she wanted war, I'd bury her with facts. This wasn't just about my driveway anymore. I'd expose her reign of entitlement. I wasn't the only neighbor fed up. A week later, a folded HOA letter slid under my door, accusing me of disrupting a permitted private event and causing emotional distress. They demanded I attend a hearing. My blood boiled. Lisa had spun me as the VY lane, but I was ready. I walked into the HOA community center with a manila folder bursting with EVY Denke. The room reeked of old carpet and smugness. Lisa sat at the far end, arms crossed, fake sympathy on her face. Two board members, Mr. Jenkins, who thought Wi-Fi was a scam, and Sarah, who one-sided me for a VY Cybel rake, flanked her. The president, Ellen, greeted me like I'd brought contraband to class. Thanks for coming, Ellen said. Let's discuss the incident during last weekend's community celebration. Community celebration? Lisa jumped in, teary-eyed. I don't understand how someone could be so cruel. It was my daughter's wedding, a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and he had our car towed in front of everyone. It was traumatic. She dabbed dry eyes with a tissue. I opened my folder. I'd like to present Eve Y Denke. This wasn't a community event, but a private function of Y Olading HOA guidelines. I laid out photos guests on my lawn, the car blocking my garage, time-stamped images, the tow truck, the police report. I handed over the bylaws. No resident can block driveways, and events need pre-approval. Lisa had none. The room went quiet. Ellen cleared her throat. Sarah squinted. Even Jenkins grunted. I pressed on. This isn't her first overreach. Last year, she reported my dragon lawn ornament. Before that, she cited the Miller kids for sidewalk chalk. This is a pattern. She used my property, blocked emergency access, and twisted rules when caught. Lisa snapped. It was one car for a few hours. You didn't have to call a tow truck like a VY Galanti. You didn't have to treat my driveway like your parking lot, I replied. But you did, and now you're painting me as the bad guy because I didn't comply. Ellen raised a hand. Enough. We've reviewed your VY Denke. Karen, protocol wasn't followed. We'll notify both parties within 3 days. I left knowing Lisa's narrative had cracked and she wouldn't take it well. Next morning, a white box sat on my porch. Inside, a photo album of the wedding, professional shots, with the Mercedes in my driveway front and center. A sticky note read, "We hope you'll see what you ruined. Lisa." I laughed, wrote, "Return to sender," and left it on her porch. But Lisa wasn't done. A city inspector showed up at her house, clipboard in hand. Someone not reported zoning violations, unpermitted tents, noise, fire hazards. The neighborhood group chat exploded with Lisa stories scolding kids for loud hopscotch, demanding porch light changes, fake citations for patio towels. The block had woken up. The HOA called an emergency meeting. It wasn't just my driveway, no, it was years of Lisa's petty tyranny. The board ruled. Lisa was removed as HOA VYC chair, issued a warning, and fined for unauthorized property use. Her reign ended. Silence followed. No clipboard patrols, no citations, no snarky emails. It was the best gift I'd never asked for. But Lisa regrouped. A black SUV pulled into her driveway, followed by a wedding planner and a legal assistant. Word spread. Her daughter, Emily, had filed a city complaint over the wedding's zoning violations. Humiliated by the tow truck wedding story, Emily wasn't speaking to her mom. Lisa sent apology cards gold-trimmed, vague, with cropped wedding photos. Most neighbors trashed them. I burned mine. Then came petty attacks. Lisa reported my mailbox for being an inch off HOA specs and claimed my non-existent dog barked too loud. I installed cameras, logged everything, and waited. Jake and VY led me to a barbecue. Time to replace Lisa's canceled HOA block party. Nearly the whole block showed up laughing, eating, free of her shadow. Jake pulled me aside. You stood up to her. You took the hit and hit back. Now we're a community again. I hadn't meant to spark a revolt. I just wanted my driveway back. But sometimes, one tow truck can dethrone a tyrant. A flyer appeared on the community board. Neighborhood Improvement Meeting, Open Forum. It wasn't HOA. It was from residents, led by Jake. Let's rebuild together. Lisa's house grew neglected, uneven lawn, wilted flowers, no wreath. She peeked through her curtains once, face blank. I nodded, reminding her I was still here. Her driveway stunt had exposed her rotten kingdom, and the neighborhood was done with her story. Weeks later, Emily VY cited. I'm Lisa's daughter, she said nervously. I'm sorry about the car. I had no idea. We paid the tow bill ourselves. She handed me an envelope. Mom's furious we sided with the enemy. We're MOVYing out of state, away from her and HOA madness. I thanked her, surprised by her decency. Lisa's tyranny had cost her family, too. The HOA newsletter announced Lisa's resignation one line. No fanfare. A MOVYing truck came, not for her, but for a new family across the street. Derek and Nina, with kids and a dog, laughed as they unpacked. Any drama we should know about? Nina asked. I pointed at Lisa's house. That one used to do worse for less. We laughed, reclaiming our space. Lisa's porch light stayed off, her curtains still. I didn't feel triumphant, just satisfied. Balance restored. One day, her house was dark. The next, a for sale sign appeared. Then a MOVYing crew packed her life and left. No farewell, no rant, just gone. As the truck pulled away, I leaned back, smiled, and said, Goodbye, Lisa. Don't come back.